So on our assignment 26 here, where we're supposed to make a plot between the concentration of hydrogen ion and the volume of hydrogen ion that we add to a solution of sodium hydroxide. I made a little change. Wasn't supposed to be a milliliter. It was supposed to be 0.1 milliliter aliquots of my 0.1 molar HCl. And we want to make a plot that plots the concentration of the hydrogen ion and then ultimately the pH versus the amount of the milliliters, the volume of our titrant. So this is going to give us the titration curve. It would be basically our theoretical titration curve. We're adding acid here, right? So our pH is going to be going down. So we're going to get a titration curve that looks like that. So essentially what we're showing is that we can plot a titration curve even before we run the titration. And then you can use your computer to adjust the titration curve. After you have your Excel plot, you can use some adjustments to make the changes based on the concentrations that you expect. So that's what we're going to try to do here. So to do this, we can start off with a plot. We're looking at the molar concentration of the hydrogen ion, but as we said, ultimately the pH. So we want to have both of those available to us, plus the milliliters, and this is actually not going to be, milliliters of 0.1 molar HCl. So we're not going to go in single milliliter increments like this. We're going to go in 0.1 milliliter increments like that. And we don't know exactly. We can do the calculation and know, but we'll just leave it at that for now. So we have to put in an equation here that will relate to the volume of HCl. So at the first part of our titration curve, from here down to the equivalence point, the pH will be essentially governed by the concentration of the base, because the base will always be in a higher concentration than the hydroxide contributed by the water or by anything else. So the concentration of hydroxide ion will help us determine what the pH will be along this curve here. All right. At the equivalence point, the pH will be determined by the pKa of the acid that we're adding, or the conjugate base, I should say. Whoops, this need to have a curve there. And then after the equivalence point, the pH will be determined by the excess acid that's added. Okay, so in our Excel sheet, we have to have basically three different equations in the end. One equation will govern, again, from the beginning all the way to the equivalence point. The second equation will govern the equivalence point, and the third equation will govern all the way after the equivalence point on to as far as you want it to continue add solution. Okay, so I don't know, should I give it to you here, or should I let you guys struggle to find out what kind of equation? I think I'm going to let you guys work on it a little bit. Try to find out what kind of equation here. Ultimately, like we said, for this first part, it's the concentration of hydroxide ion. So we said we had 0.1 molar hydroxide ion, and we said we had was it 0.1? Let's go back here real quick and take a look. 100 milliliters of 0.01. So 0.01 molar, and then 100 milliliters, which is 0.1 liters. So that little statement there would be the concentration of your hydroxide ion. Now, we want ultimately this to be the molar concentration of the hydrogen ion. And then we also need to tie it into the amount of acid that we've added. So it's going to be this value, which is our moles of hydroxide ion. Subtracting however much acid you have will decrease the moles of hydroxide ion. Divided by the total volume, we're increasing the volume as we add milliliters of HCl, volume of HCl here. And then ultimately that hydroxide ion concentration that will result from those alterations has to be related to the hydrogen ion concentration, knowing that the 1 times 10 to the minus 14 equals the hydrogen ion concentration times the hydroxide ion concentration. And from that, after you get that, it'll be really easy to create another equation over here for the pH. All right, I'm going to let you guys see if you can work on this a little bit longer and see if you can get it. Hopefully that helped.